Good morning and welcome to Soulbirth here on Edge Radio Australia. Oh, the lovely Faye is here. You ready? You fired up?
Oh, always ready, Aaron.
Oh, my word. You're such a fibber. We've come back after a long weekend. The computer says no. You know, we're all basically in that mood of like, do we really have to do this?
Well, lucky we're on the couch.
We are on the couch.
This is a very chilled show, isn't it?
It is very, very chilled.
Sitting back,
I say that, but honestly, and then you get 30 seconds in, and man, the enthusiasm fires in. But long weekends, hey, we're Australian, okay? You know, it was Labor Day. I don't normally celebrate Labor. In fact, I can't stand them, but there you go.
Oh, right.
But when it's a day off, I'm an Aussie, so, you know, I'll take it. There's no doubt about that.
There you go. That's good. I never actually had the day off, but anyway, some of us still work.
Jeez,
But that's all right. I do what I love, so it doesn't matter. It's
Well,
not
how
like
lucky are
work,
you?
is it? I know.
Yeah,
Right. When
exactly
you love
right.
when you're passionate about what you do.
Thoroughly agree.
Yeah.
Now, passion. Oh, well, you're going to need one a little bit to make a baby. But
Yes.
before that, this is we're going to talk about the sort of, well, you've talked about soul intentions and that sort of thing. But, yeah, today's subject's a little bit different. You want to give us a bit of a rundown of what we're about?
It's a little bit different, but it's kind of the same, you know, similar theme to what we always talk
Similar
about
but
here at
different,
Soulbirth, yeah, because we're talking about the soul and spirit baby connection. So I know we've talked about communicating with your unborn baby before, and we've talked about the soul's journey and, you know, all of that. So I just thought we could elaborate on that a bit today.
All right, well, let's elaborate away, because this fits into the category of, with me, of formerly completely in the woohoo,
Cool.
whatever.
I'm so glad
territory.
I love taking you to woo-woo territory.
No, yeah, well, you have. You've taken me straight to woo-woo land. I tell you right now,
I love it.
Sounds like a line from a KLF song. But anyway, but over time of knowing you and talking about the subjects we talk about, you have absolutely changed my opinion on, well, actually not changed my opinion, opened my eyes to a lot of things that were there that I probably didn't acknowledge before. So, yeah, let's talk about it.
Aaron's going woo-woo.
I am going woo-woo.
That's great. Love it.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah, so as we know, you know, we're on this soul journey because we all come from spirit. We're here having a physical experience, and so all part of the soul journey. And, you know, the fact that we make our contracts with others before we come in on a soul level.
Yep.
And, you know, I was just watching a video the other day of somebody who had a near-death experience, and it reminded me about the number of people that have near-death experiences, and when they're on the other side, they see all the same things that I'm talking about, you know, and it's
There's
all
consistency to
there's
it, right?
consistency.
Yeah,
Every single person I've heard telling their near-death experience talks about the fact that, yes, we are souls that make a soul contract with others before we come in.
Yep.
And when you cross over, you have this life review, which I know because I've seen it. And so it's really interesting.
Hang on, you've seen it.
I have. I've had the opportunity of, you know, because I communicate with spirit, with souls that have crossed over. And so I've had the opportunity to actually escort them over at times, because it's another part of what I do is working at the other end of life as well, where, you know, some souls become earthbound because
I'll tell you
trauma.
what, you've got it covered, have you? On the way in, on the way out, you got it.
I'm just your escort here.
That's right. Take you by the hand and take you through life.
For souls, exactly.
It's really interesting because we've never really discussed that before.
No, we haven't gotten to the other end of life yet.
No, we've been too busy at the birth end of life.
I know, but what happens at death, you know?
Absolutely. Okay, well, that's for another show, I reckon.
It is, yes, absolutely.
And something you have said to me before, and I wrestle with this a little bit, like I want to believe it, I talk myself into it, out of it all, well, a whole bit, but the whole bit about choosing your parents and that whole spiritual journey before conception.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling with it. Like I want it. I really want it. I want to believe it.
Yeah.
But then I think about all the people who have got really horrible parents and, you know, or horrible experiences like that. So
that's because, like, our perception as a human is that life should be all good.
Sure.
That, you know, that because we are born with a clean slate, if you'd like, but we're not really, because it's been pre-programmed to an extent, you know, and we have our blueprint for life set up, and that's influenced by not only the stuff that goes into the womb. So while you're being developed in the womb, you've got the influences of everybody around your mother, and, you know, that because you're picking up on the words, the energy. So it forms how you are going to be as a human, as you're laying the blueprint down, but you're also coming in with a set of conditions that your soul has actually asked for, so that you come in and have this experience, because the whole purpose of having a human life is to experience the physicality and to have the challenges that are going to help us to grow and evolve as a soul. That's
this is the bit that I challenge myself to, I guess, or it challenges me as a concept, I guess, because yeah, like everything you've said about, being in the womb and development of the baby in the womb and the outside influences, whether it be, sounds, music, the environment, full stop, that, you're being exposed to. Hey, the food that mum's eating, whatever.
Exactly. It all makes a difference.
Yeah, all those things. Now, I completely am on board with those. But, yeah, the soul, and I get it. I mean, I want to hope that the soul's making that journey, but sometimes I wonder about the decisions the soul's made. You know?
Well, that's because it doesn't fit into our nice, neat little mind, about what we would like, because it comes down to choice, free will, and all that as a human. But these are contracts that we've made before we actually came into this body. And so they're for our highest good. So, there's way more than just our physical body. Like, we are expansive beings. We're all part of the same
100%.
energy,
Yep.
And so we make choices before we come in. It's like you're sitting up there and you're going, what would I like to experience in this lifetime? Oh, like, I haven't had a lifetime yet where I've been down and out and on drugs and all this stuff. So, that would be cool to have a lifetime like that.
Pick that one.
Exactly. So that's the thing. We can't judge another person by the journey they've taken. We might not agree with that journey they've taken, but on a soul level, they've made those choices before they came in. So they will choose a family to come into so they can kind of go in that direction.
Okay. Well, it might be necessary. I mean,
Exactly.
If we're there to learn, right? You learn best through adversity. So those who have had a really tough life or a lot of tough experiences, quite frankly, they're learning the most. They've got the best opportunity, I guess.
Because we learn more and grow more as a soul when we have bigger challenges, when you get to the other side of it.
Yeah.
And so if we never have any challenges, I mean, how lucky would you be to not have any challenges in life?
Cruise, yes.
But then there's no growth in that either,
None whatsoever.
Some people do choose to come in and have just a nice, easy life, and that's their experience this life, and that's good for them.
Lucky them, okay.
But usually we all, on a soul level, have some kind of growth that we want to achieve because, that's all what it's about.
Okay. What if your life has been, I'll talk about a friend here. What if your life has been like a game of pinball? Okay, so you have been boom, 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 bounce from good to bad to good to bad, but you've probably taken a lot of really hard sort of knocks away through the journey, I guess, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, is that preparing you for another life? Is that preparing your energy for? I mean, everyone's got a different belief, I guess, or is it just is the adversity sometimes to make sure that you maybe appreciate and love the positive times?
Well, there's a mixture of all of that, really. Okay. And again, it does come down to your belief, because I'm speaking from my experience and my belief system, and not everybody will agree with it.
Sure.
But, I do believe in reincarnation. I do believe in past lives.
Yep.
And from my experiences on the other side, because I'm crossing backwards and forwards a lot, because it's just what I've always been able to do.
Okay.
And so I see that, we've had multiple a lot of lifetimes in the past. And so there's, what we class as karma, but it's actually, opportunities for growth. So, if you might have been the oppressor or something, or the person doing the wrong thing by other people in past life, so you may come back into this lifetime and choose the people from that lifetime so you can switch roles around. So you may have what you class as a really awful time because you've had one incident or several incidents with one particular person, but you may have a soul contract with them that you've got to reverse the experience so that you get to have that experience, even though your physical self would not choose that.
Okay, so we're talking about a spiritual journey, which is really My Name is Earl.
Yeah, absolutely. I love shows like that.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, I guess.
Because if you look at everything that happens in life, but kind of extract yourself from your physical body and look at it from above, like as if you were spirit, like an angel or something, looking down on your life, and you actually look at all the different situations that have played out in life and see it through different eyes, as if, wow, what would be the lesson in that? Why did that happen to me? What happened as a result? Did I change my values? Did I change my personality? Did I go a different way? What did I learn from that?
Okay.
And then you can start to see the gifts unfolding.
What about those people in life who don't want to learn the lesson? And there seems to be a lot of them.
Oh, there are,
I'm experiencing this a lot. I mean, there's a lot of political stuff going on at the moment. There's more opinions on, social media than you could poke a stick at.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell you what, there's a lot of poking going on. It's everywhere.
Sure is.
And people have some opinions that kind of shake. I'm struggling to explain this because okay, I've had people in my life who in the last few days have had opinions where I thought, oh my God, I thought I knew you, right? And I realised that their personalities are very, very different to what I thought. And therefore our relationship is I think, going to be changed. Is that a contract? Like, could that be some sort of soul contract? The fact
Can be, and it's also part of growing, because as we all grow and evolve as a soul and we learn our lessons, then we kind of change and become different. We might make different decisions, and so who you were when you were 20 isn't totally who you are now.
100% different bloke.
Because you've changed your opinions and different things. And so this is why a lot of people grow apart, especially I find when people start to have kids. And your values and how you parent changes is very different to how your other friends do. So you find that you go in different directions because you don't want to be around somebody if their parenting style is very aggressive. You know? And you want to raise your child in a gentle, nurturing atmosphere. So that's just one example that is really marked. So you notice that. And there's so many other stages in life where your friendships break up, say some people come into your life for a long time and some are only just passing by, and they're all here to teach each other lessons. So, somebody might pass through your life for a very quick time, but they'll give you a huge lesson. And then somebody else will stay for a lot longer, and they may stay with you for your whole life. And, because you might be there as in a support role for each other. To anchor you here, to keep you here, because life is going to be tough. So you need to have some people that are, soul contracts with people that are going to help you to stay here, because it's going to be a difficult path otherwise.
A lot of detail to that, really, isn't there?
There really is so much to it. This is why I like recommending meditation and, going inwards and connecting with your higher self and your soul, having these connections with spirit and spirit babies, because we unravel all of this. There's so many layers to it.
And we're here to learn, right? Like, we really are. And if you're not learning, like, honestly, you're wasting your life. And I don't want to pass my judgment on others, maybe a little bit. But I don't understand people who don't want to expand their minds, don't want to look at different things, like they're just stuck in their lane. They like their lane. To me, we're here to get better. Like, life should be about improvement. Like, if you've got anything in life, whether you obviously yourself, right? Your self-improvement should be there. You should want to become a better human being, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said in your opinion, because the should is your perception of how it should
100%.
be. Because everybody's on their own journey, and we shouldn't be judging another person for their journey. We can agree or disagree with them and have different opinions, which I love about this freedom of speech here, this platform you've created, because it is about freedom of speech and allowing everybody to have their own thoughts and expressions and not judging them. So if you don't like it, move away. It's like Facebook. If you post something and everybody bombards you with hate mail, it's like, well, just move along, buddy. If you don't like what I'm saying, then get off my page.
Tell your story walking, right?
Exactly.
Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. But it's so true. It's so true. And I've just had, funny enough, you mentioned Facebook. I have a person I have known for, get this, 50 years.
Oh, I didn't know you were that old, Aaron.
No. This goes before I was born.
Of course, pre-birth communication.
But something I literally met when I was 2 years old, right?
Okay. Oh, you gave away your age
there
now.
It is. Yep, absolutely. So met at 2, and, been in and out of each other's lives over the years and stuff. And anyway, I always thought very highly of the guy. I always thought he was a bit troubled. I always thought he was a bit challenged, but I always had a high opinion of his intellect and that. And then, I've seen this incredible nastiness over the last little period. And I think to myself, like, I now have a different attitude. I used to try and, I don't know, I'd make excuses for the people, and I'd tolerate that in my life. And I said, hey, no, we need to pause on this, mate. You're going too far. But he kept pushing. And so what I've basically just said is, you know what, I respect myself way too much for this. Catch you later, right?
That's great. And that's a great lesson for you. You've stepped up and said that and moved away. You've set boundaries, and that's
spot on. And there you go.
About too.
That was kind of my point about, he was the catalyst. He's not as far as like, he's the catalyst for me to make the decision in my own life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of our life experiences around that is actually having soul contracts with others that will come into our life at some point, or maybe your whole life journey. Sure. And then we'll teach you a lesson around setting boundaries, because it's about empowerment of self and setting our boundaries, our energetic boundaries, as well as our personal boundaries. What will we tolerate and allow? Because it's all coming back to love, unconditional love of self and others. and the non-judgment. And so, and in that too, he might have learnt a lesson in that by standing back and reflecting, because you had the courage to actually set your boundaries.
Yep.
He may now go, oh, okay, I pushed the boundaries there, so maybe I should reflect. And,
sure.
Because the other thing is, you don't ever know what's going on for somebody.
No.
Inwards too. He might have something going on in his life that's caused him to be like that all of a sudden. And, so it's about having that give unconditional love and holding space for people to be who they are. Doesn't mean that it's okay to stay in it and suffer the consequences yourself. So what you did was perfect, is actually setting your boundaries.
But it's really interesting you say that. From the point of view, I thought to myself, okay, clearly there's something happened. There's something that's made you shift in life and you're going in a different direction. And I tried to open the door to actually be a friend and explore that together, and was shut down pretty quick as far as I'm concerned, and quite aggressively. So again, then I made the decision. And for me, like, okay, the lesson of life, and what I'm saying in a very roundabout way here is, as far as my soul journey has been absolutely hampered all the way through with my inability to actually set decent boundaries.
That's your lesson in life.
Spot on.
And that's the same for most people. I'm the same.
Right.
Most of my life lessons have been around setting boundaries and self-worth issues as well, because of so many past lives where we've had the opposite, where we haven't excelled.
Sure.
And we've been put down for our beliefs and everything. Just when you think back to all the past lives, witch hunts and getting stoned to death, or burnt at the stake for speaking out about what you believed in, or being a healer.
Sure.
So most of us coming in as light workers or healers now are actually going through the persecution stuff. So we're having to heal past lives and let them go, and know that we don't need to be repeating that anymore. That's a cycle that's finished, and we need to finish it and step out of it. But in that, it's about learning self-love and self-worth, knowing that you are allowed to speak your truth. So there's a lot of stuff around the throat chakra healing in this lifetime about, being able to speak up, which is why it's great to have platforms like this too, because this allows those wounded healers to speak their truth.
Well, 500 years ago, how many lives that'd be? People who would be having ideas like this would be literally the centre point of a barbecue.
Exactly,
all right?
exactly. Been there, done that many times.
Yeah, there you go. Whereas, now through, I don't know, the openness and acceptance and different sort of media and all of that, all the way that the world has changed. Now there's an avenue for it, right? There's a venue where we can talk about it. Whereas before, look, people who, people who were just literally a little bit quirky were seen as being, mentally ill and this and that. And put in boxes. When I say boxes,
or asylums.
That's pretty much what I'm saying here, whacking them in asylums. Whereas, I think about people with ADHD. If we're talking like 80 years ago, they would have been put in a padded cell.
Yeah,
crazy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so the world's changed, and
thank
acceptance of people is great.
Exactly. So we're still evolving, obviously, and we're going through a huge transition at the moment with all the chaos and everything. But it's all, hopefully positive. It's all evolving to a better
place. A lot
place.
of it's regressive. A lot of it's going backwards. I mean, this whole gender ideology, and I'm never ever going to pretend that I'm going to be on board with it. I don't pretend anyway, but you know what I mean. I wouldn't. I'm just not going to, I very much, I love people, and I love people to be themselves, right? So if you're a man, you wish to wear a dress and do that kind of thing, knock yourself out, do it, buddy, right? You be you, but don't tell me how to think, and don't tell me how to express myself about my feelings about it.
Yeah, so it's allowing everybody to have their journey, whatever that is for them.
Spot on.
Yeah. Not not judging others for it, or saying that you have to do what I'm doing because that's right and you're wrong, because we're all right in our own journey. I guess the main thing comes down to, as long as you're not harming other people in the process.
And I think that's got to be the barometer here, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. You be you, as long as it doesn't hurt others.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Yeah, so now let's wind the old clock back a bit. So this we've talked about soul contracts before, obviously, but this, as far as before conception, for argument's sake, we get a lot of people through life, let's face it, we talk about this a lot, certainly in the Western world, about fertility problems, right? People are really having trouble having babies, right? Okay, on a spiritual side, but then and you see people who've done things who've got nothing to do with modern medicine, nothing to do with injections and this and that and things that are pumped into your body.
There's a lot of stuff now that's causing infertility, with all the medications and,
Oh, no question about it.
Environmental things. But when you get past all of that, there's also the spiritual aspect like you're leading into.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, with the spiritual side, there's a lot of people who are opening that door and becoming pregnant, kind of, I'm going to say because of it, right? But they're opening the door because they're giving themselves the opportunity there. I think that, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, I'm passionate about the whole conscious conception thing because, as far as I'm concerned, from what I see and have experienced is that, we have soul contracts. So, when parents are wanting to become pregnant, to bring a child into the world, if you can tap into the spirit realm and see if you've got a contract with the soul that's going to come in, which is all the work I do, because I can actually see, if they've got a soul lined up to come in, or 2 or 3 or 4, how many that, they've made a contract with, I can see them,
Oh, you can see the shopping list. Look at you go. Wow.
Pretty much. And I can see how close they are as well, not to the minute detail, but I can see if they're like kind of being, fairly soonish, or if they're way off in the distance, and how many they are that they've made a contract with. And then, if they've been having trouble conceiving, they can find out, why are they having trouble? Is it a physical issue? Is it a, something to do with the relationship? Because, I've had that before where it's like the couple has to sort out some difference they're having, or, some conditions there, or it may be a family thing, or there's stress involved and they've got to get rid of the stress and start to relax more and open, because all the different souls have different requirements. So it is like a shopping list. So it's like, I'm not coming in until you learn to relax and stop working so hard and start taking care of yourself. And they're like, oh God, really? So, but that's the lesson that is there. These souls coming in are actually giving the parents to be lessons before they even will come in, because they're saying, I'm not coming in until you get your life sorted.
Oh, I absolutely love that, because again, I refer back to myself, and I'm not trying. It's because everything you talk about, it makes me self-reflect, and I really like that. Yeah, excellent. I really like that. So I think about the fact that when my kids have come into my life, like when I became a dad for the first time, I have not been the same fella. The guy from the day before, right? That Mother's Day in July all those years ago, when my first son came into the world, that guy not ceased to exist, but there was a line, right, where I became dad. And when I became dad, my priorities completely changed.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%. Your birth is, I call it the sacred portal to parenthood, because we are an individual until this baby is born, and then suddenly it's not only the baby is born, but it's a mother is born and a father is born. It's like we are born as a new person, because the world is never the same again.
It's not. You've opened a door to a different part of your personality, and also your responsibilities are very different. And the word responsibility can be often portrayed as a negative thing. It's a very positive thing in so many ways, right?
Yeah,
so the things that were important to me before children were not always, generally quite selfish.
Well, they were, because you're all about yourself at that stage, and that's how it's meant to be. As you go through life, you have all they call it 7-year cycles, because and that's very spiritual as well, because the 7-year cycles, how we move in them, and the first 7 years it's all about the coming into the physical,
right? So
children learn through play, so they should be immersed in nature and learning through doing in nature, not being on iPads and different things, because it actually stifles their creativity. When you allow a child to be in nature in the first 7 years, they actually take in the world around them and learn so much through being connected with nature.
True.
And then the next 7 years are all about intellectualizing, when they're starting to learn to read and to actually be a human, and to learn how to do more. And then the next 7 years is all about stepping into puberty, taking hormonal shifts. That's fun, yes. And then, up to 21, you're sort of stepping into the adulthood and learning to be an adult, and, and it is all about you. The 14 to 21 is all about me.
One day I'll learn how to be an adult. I'm ready.
You're still stuck there. I think that's what I thought. You're still only 21, Aaron.
Look, all jokes aside, mentally, as far as, in so many ways, well, not mentally, probably in a lot of ways emotionally. I got to 22, really liked it, thought I'll stay there. The bodies argued, but 22, liked it there, good place, happy to go back there any day.
Isn't it funny, when you're older, you feel like you're still in your 20s. It's just the body tells you otherwise sometimes.
I was talking to someone, it's good old human experience. I was talking to someone just the other day, and I was at a wedding, and great, you're beautiful then, all that kind of thing. And but this, I was having a conversation with this bloke, and he's talking about his life, and he just seems so old, like really old. And we're talking away, and he and I are the same age. And I thought,
right.
oh
yeah,
no,
I find that a lot.
no, yeah, like it was kind of shocking. And now, good thing is the world equalised very quickly. And I went and spoke to a friend of mine that was there, and he and I are basically the same age, within a couple. And I felt young again. It was okay, got back to it. But it's, different people and their different journeys. And,
exactly.
and I think if you make a decision to be, old is so not really what I want to say. If you make a decision to phone it in, right? When you just want to go and just, slide, right? Okay, then, well, that's up to you. But I think there's also a great decision in life, no matter what the number is beside your name, to live life, right? Okay,
and that's
experience
the key, I think.
it.
Living life, and it's your mindset too, like how much joy you're getting.
I think so. Like you mentioned before, you were saying about kids on iPads, right? Which is one of my absolute just in life. Don't get me wrong, there's value in them. I can see that, and there are some times where your kids are driving you nuts, and you just you need a bit of whatever. Okay, I get that. So I'm not saying if you ever give your kids an iPad, you're a bad parent. The people who basically stick a tablet in front of their children left, right, and centre, that's not good parenting, right? I watched this video today, funny enough, came up in the old feed, and it made me so happy. Okay, it was this dad who was filming. He walked out the front of his house, and his son and a couple of local neighbourhood kids were making a BMX jump, right? Because there was a bit there's some water splashed down there, been a bit of weather, right? So they're making a BMX jump. Anyway, one kid's out there and smoothing it all out and doing the prep, and the dad's teasing them about the fact that, hang on, why is the 6-year-old about to become the one who's going to test the jump? And the 8-year-old goes, yeah, well, we always send him to, he's the test.
Crash test dummy.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the markings on the face is yellow and black, and away we go. But okay, what I'm getting at is then he went and he did the jump, and then the other kids are doing the jump, right? Anyway, now what are those kids learning right there? Okay, they're learning about nature because they're playing with the mud and all kind of thing, and they're learning to build something, all right? So they're understanding, engineering, all right? They're also going to jump this big, thing of water or whatever. So there's a level of risk management. There's all these lessons that I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Camaraderie, teamwork, all of these things.
So much through play and being out in nature, doing things.
Why you don't learn that when you're holding a tablet in front of you?
No.
Chasing a little goblin across the room, on a screen. It's
exactly. Well, I've seen another video and you've probably seen it too, floating around on Facebook, but it's all about how if you want to, somebody wanted to test out, about how to find a genius, and they studied 3 to 5 year olds, I think it was, and had a group of 3 to 5 year olds, and they found that as they watched the kids and gave them all these problems to solve, they naturally found ways to solve them because they weren't interfered with, just left to go about it, and they found ways to solve all the problems. And then the older the people got, they were testing all through age, and found that the older you get, the more dumbed down you become, and so less problem solving abilities. So the genius level was actually something like 97% in a 3 to 5 year old age group. Yeah, and then by the time you're 80 or something like that, it was 1% or 2%. So, but it's because of all the things that we get exposed to, and we have our problem-solving abilities taken away from us because it's all there on the laptop, or it's all done for us.
Done for us.
Yeah.
Okay, just look at the most basic thing of being a child, right? Okay, you see something on the outside of the room as a baby, and you want to get to it. Okay, first you're going to start rolling. Right, okay. Then you're going to start dragging yourself along. Then you're going to start crawling. Then you're going to start walking, right? And then eventually you start running. Okay, but you have to teach yourself that, right? That's instinctive because you want that thing that's on the other side of the room. If you're living a life where it's just given to you electronically,
exactly. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to think. Don't have to problem solve. Life's too
I'd be
easy.
very interested, for those who are watching and at home or at work or wherever you happen to be, pop a comment down if you like, or a question. I really love a bit of interaction with these sorts of things because these are my opinions. I mean, I know yours are right. I know mine.
Right? No, they're all similar, but everybody has different opinions on all of this.
Yeah,
and it depends on your lifestyle and what works for you and what doesn't. But it'd be interesting to know different people's opinions on this, but
for sure,
I know that if you want to connect with your soul, because we're talking about, soul connection.
Sure.
Getting back to nature is like the best way to quickly get back in touch with your main, your soul.
That's exactly that kind of was my point to a big degree, because I'm watching. This might just seem silly, but to me, I was kind of reliving it a bit in my brain, and I'm thinking to myself, when I was a kid, I can feel the mud in my hands when I'm making those BMX, because I used to be that one. I'd be making the BMX jumps and stealing all the bricks from all the neighbourhood building sites so we could make really dangerous jumps, and we'd jump the local kids. And again, you're learning all these things, but it's part
building cubbies in the bush and all that stuff, because we used to roam the streets. All the
free
kids
range
in the street.
parenting was wicked.
It was great. You don't just see that anymore.
No, you don't. You just don't.
Shame. But you all learnt to build things and and problem solve. Build
Spot
the ramps,
on.
build the cubbies, do all that.
And I think that from a soul level, like that's for me. I'm so incredibly privileged to have lived that. So had that upbringing, right?
Yeah,
because
me too.
My soul got fed.
Yeah,
it really did,
And the other thing was, as kids back then, we were always running around bare feet too, feet on the ground, and that's earthing, grounding ourselves,
so
which is really, really important. And so these days we're always wearing shoes around, or we've got things under our feet, so we're not connecting with the earth. So that's another part of disconnection from self, and from our soul. So if you want to connect, get your shoes off, run around in nature, go to the beach,
So true. Getting the prickles, the bindi stuck in your feet was part. It's a rite of passage. It's part of life.
They hurt.
Well, they do. But kids don't feel that, experience those sorts of things anymore, right?
Yeah.
Again, because get your feet onto the ground, onto the grass, get onto the sand, on the beach. And I'm joking about the bindis, of course, but but it's true. You're so right. Like how we had no shoes on. We actually we were actually in contact with the earth.
And when I was a child, I remember just spending hours and hours out in the backyard, bare feet, just sitting there in nature, talking to your spirit, because I always did. That was just part of my growing up.
Right.
So I was just talking to spirit and asking all the questions in the universe, why I'm here and what's the point of all of this, that what am I supposed to be here for. And we had lots of pets as well, like chickens and birds and guinea pigs and cats and dogs. We had, and I think that's also connecting, because you get to communicate with
100%.
the souls of animals, who we're all one, we're all part of the same energy. And when you spend time in nature or connecting with animals, you naturally go into that place where you're actually in tune with other beings intuitively, and you don't need words so much, because you can understand telepathic communication.
Completely understand. I mean, I've been now over a year without my beautiful pussycat, Penny, who I love very, very much, right? And she didn't pass away, unfortunately, with the house fire, with the bushfire that went through. I've had to rehome her, which is
okay. So that's right.
So
she got out of the fire.
Sorry?
She wasn't caught up in the fire.
No, she wasn't. No. To be frank, Monty and I, without Monty, picked her up and got her out and got out both of our cats out, which was fantastic. So no, I'm forever grateful for that. What I'm kind of going on that is that and I do want to back one day, but the soulful feeling and the feeling of communication with somebody or something, an animal, whatever that you care about, you don't need to be talking.
No, that's right.
You could if you wanted to, but it's such an important thing, and it's grounding, and it brings you back to something far more basic and far more important. I think.
Exactly. And the other thing we used to do a lot as kids, which I really encourage parents to do if you don't already, is to, on beautiful, beautiful summer nights like we are having, to lay out on the grass, under the stars at night. The stars have been amazing lately, especially with the star lineup, with the 7 planets in a row. Last Friday night was incredible. We had the 7 planets all lined up in powerful night.
Didn't know that.
So I was at a women's circle, where we were, honouring the astrological event. And oh my gosh, the night sky was stunning. It was just because I was out on a farm property out in the back of Wanneroo, and it was just so black, and the sky was just spectacular, like jewels hanging in the darkness. It was beautiful.
It is.
So, as parents, get your kids out and have a family night. Like we used to always take our beds out and, just a mattress on the grass and lay down on the stars and like try to find which planets were which, and, stare up there and connect with with all it is. and it really brings you back to self. It makes you realise that, you're part of it all. And also, the daytimes laying under the trees watching all the leaves wrestling.
Because you are part of it all.
You are.
You really are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we live lives where, we surround ourselves with concrete now, and we okay. And I'm not dissing modern life, right? Okay. But there's a lot of reality that disattached you from the earth, right? You get in your car. What do? You turn the aircon on. Now, when we were growing up, okay,
it was the window down.
That's right. This is your aircon, okay? How much do you want to control it? Okay, that's about halfway, whatever, right?
Exactly.
Flipper windows on cars, they rocked, right? Now, but you were still absorbing nature, whereas now we get in a box, we close the doors, the windows are up, we press a button to be living in an artificial environment, right? We do it at home. I know with myself here at Edge, and I love Edge very, very much, but but ultimately we're here in the middle of lovely Mount Lawley, but it's so much concrete and so much busyness and so much whatever. It is so nice to, at the end of the day, go and actually, I'm very lucky, I've got some trees around and all that sort of thing. So to retreat from that,
exactly.
and reattach. And as at a soulful level, it's a good thing to always find nature in one way or another. I tend to think,
Yeah, and that's so true what you're saying, because it's like we're transporting ourselves from one box to another box.
We do.
Move around.
Yeah, that's right.
And keeping our shoes on the whole time. Like, I love nothing better than getting home and kicking the shoes off, and just go out and stand on the grass for a bit, because it just feels so nice at the end of the day.
My grass isn't very nice. I've got black thumbs, so it's a bit like it's just a bit four-drivey at the moment. But we'll get to it. But it's true, there's so many opportunities to do it, and again, this is all about aligning with, you are a part of nature. We are an extension of nature. So from a soul sort of filled point of view,
exactly.
And plug in or unplug.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I talk about feng shui as well, because that's all about chi flow, and we've talked about that in previous episodes too, but for the healthy natural chi flow to move through your environment, it's important also to open your windows and doors. So when you're in your box, open the windows and doors and allow the chi flow to come in, so that you're getting healthy chi as well, to breathe in fresh air and get some light, so you're not just in a dark box. And
okay, so there's societies doing everything possible to get us locked in a box, right? So and to get away from that soulful and that natural life. Okay, so from the decisions you make before you're conceived, and the little contracts you put together. Okay, what if your contract says that I'm supposed to be a person of nature and all kind of carry on and that kind of vibe, but you're living in a box? Okay. What's the disconnect?
If that's your sole purpose, you will have this driving passion in you to actually get out in nature. You won't be happy staying in a box, so you'll be one of those people that always wants to go bush, always want to get away in nature. Like, I always want to go hiking and camping out in nature, because I love nature. So I always find ways to get out and about and do that. And I don't feel content when I'm just staying at home all the time. Yeah. So if you're like that, you'll be driven to get out.
Right. And then probably the other side of it, some people are their contracts are to be a homebody and to be there. Yeah,
exactly. And that's all they want to do, is stay home, make a beautiful home, which is great as well. Again, it's their journey. They're choosing that, and that's okay.
Okay. What if you don't like the journey that's been chosen, or you've chosen beforehand?
Well, that's a lot of people, I think, because once we come into this body, we disconnect a lot from our purpose, and I think it's quite deliberate a lot of the time, because we have to be here to experience life. But when you can actually learn to connect with that and actually see what your experience is about and understand that you chose this journey, then it actually makes it easier to go through it. But if you're disconnected through life and you don't see that and you don't believe in that, that's fine, but you might have a lot of rocky roads to go down.
Right, we're not talking the chocolate here. Okay.
No, exactly.
Okay. Well, so look, we've all got free will, right?
We do, and that's the gift in it, see, because everything's not carved out. Like, we do make certain decisions, and we've got this like destiny, which is what our soul chose as part of our path, and so one way or the other we're going to achieve our destiny. But it's a matter of free will allows us to take whichever road. You can go the high road or the windy scenic road.
Oh, look,
and make funny choices.
I love the windy roads. I'm all
about
corners.
I'm about scenic route as well. I always like to see what's down every single road.
Some of us are rally drivers, other are drag racers, I guess. That's where it comes down to.
So you just want to get there fast, but you love all the curves. You just got to go through them fast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As fast as possible.
As fast as possible. Love that kind of thing. Well, I mean, that's the journey, isn't it? Right?
It
Okay.
is.
And it should be textured and interesting, and life and living your life purpose is a very, very big part of that, knowing what it is. And we're not just born to basically, go to work and pay taxes and all of that. We're here to actually have an experience, right? And improve ourselves. Well, not even, maybe it might not be improved. Maybe it's going downhill, whatever, but it's to evolve, right?
Exactly. And we never know, unless you actually know what your purpose is, which is, a gift in itself to know that, because then you can be much clearer and actually achieve it really quickly. But if you don't know and you're on this journey, but know that whatever's happening is happening for you, not to you. So we're not a victim in this. We're actually in control of it.
Yeah, I only learned that a couple of years ago, and one of the best sayings, not happening to you, it's happening for you. That is so, and it made me reassess, because without putting a dark sort of, well, just bringing darkness to things. A lot of really, really, really horrible things have happened in my life, right? Okay, stuff that, I've probably got 10 things. No, I've probably got 20 things that are so bad that happened in my life that, some people have had one of them and that's tainted their entire life.
Yeah.
I've had it smashed at me, right?
Right, yeah.
But I'm not sitting here dwelling in it by any stretch of imagination. Because I actually am very, very lucky, in as much as I've learned, it didn't happen to me, it happened for me.
Exactly.
It has happened to teach me.
Yeah.
It has happened because clearly I needed that lesson. Okay, clearly I needed a bit of a slap around the back of the head, right?
Is that what happened to the hair?
Yeah, that's what happened to the hair. Clean snap straight off. And for me, and I can't speak for everybody, but certainly for me, understanding that and then making the decision to accept that it's that this is not a punishment. It's a lesson or whatever. Has been pivotal of how I've decided to move forward in my life.
Yeah, and because I think knowing that too, sorry, keep tapping that, knowing that actually gives you a lot more control over your life, because you can look at things that are happening and say, okay, why is this happening? Or especially repeat patterns that keep coming up, and it can quite often shows up in relationships if you keep attracting the same kind of relationship,
Spot on.
and different experiences in life. If the same thing keeps on coming up for you, then that's a lesson that you haven't learnt yet. So and it will come at you in different ways. You think you've overcome the lesson, and then it will come in a different format, and you'll go, oh, not this one again.
Yeah. Okay, why am I doing the same things over and over again?
Exactly.
Haven't I learnt from it?
Exactly.
Well,
what am I missing?
What am I missing? What's the piece? It's this great jigsaw puzzle in front of you, and right now there's this little tiny piece that's missing that is making the whole thing incomplete.
And a lot of the time it's about the boundary setting.
Oh, I think it's the biggest thing.
It really is.
When I talk to so many people, and then we talk about, relationships, for argument's sake, whether we're talking about intimate relationships, friendships, whatever, almost everything that goes wrong in any kind of relationship is boundary based.
It is. Yeah. And remembering that the lessons that are coming at us are merely just a reflection too back at us about, what's going on. It's actually reflecting back to you what it is in you that needs healing or working on or whatever. And so seeing it from that, rather than accusing the person of all the bad things they're doing, it's actually reflect and go, okay, so why am I seeing this? Why is this being reflected for me? What do I need to learn from this? And then not judging it, but, just embracing it as well. Because, a lot of shadow stuff is coming up for us at the moment too. So all the shadow stuff is, there's the light and the dark, and the yin and the yang, all of that, the balance. We can't have one without the other. And a lot of us have a shadow aspect of ourselves, which is all the unhealed parts of ourselves and all the trauma and the stuff that you want to push away and not pay attention to because it's too painful and traumatic. But when you bring it out of the darkness and shine a light on it and see it for what it is, as the gift that it's trying to teach you, then it's no longer anything to be afraid of.
It loses its power, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. Because otherwise it has control over you and your life, and you're too afraid to do things in life because of the control this has over you. But if you can shine a light on it, bring it out, and then actually learn what it is that you're meant to learn, it goes away. And it's like suddenly you've got this freedom, so much better in life when you don't have all this shadow, like skeletons in the closet kind of thing.
Well, it doesn't have to be the ghost train at the Royal Show, right?
No, it doesn't,
Get things out in the open, and you tend to you take away their power.
Exactly, because then when the ghost jumps out at you, just go, you don't scare me.
No, you don't. Hey, we've hit the end of the show.
Oh,
look
gosh,
at us
already.
go. Tell you right now.
Fast, didn't it?
Do you have any last minutes of wisdom that before I click the button and we re into the world of radio?
Well, I'd just like to say, that if, you know, for people to reconnect with their soul and why they're here, you know, it's a great gift. And so, you know, you can always contact me if you'd like to, you know, help.
Oh, for sure.
Help to actually see what the gifts are. And also just knowing that, you know, when you're bringing a child into the world as well, you know, connecting with the soul of the child, they're here to teach you just as much as you're going to teach them as a parent. So be open to listening to whatever it is.
I love that. My kids have taught me so much.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable, the most important gifts in my entire life. So there we are. And now, if you want to actually get in contact with you, though, you said do it, but how can we do it? Come on.
On my website, soulbirth.com.au, or just email me, faye@soulbirth.com.au.
Beautiful. Otherwise, through the socials. But, hey, why not use the old website, you know?
Absolutely.
It's nice, it's new, it's shiny, it looks fantastic, so why not? All right, thank you very much for being part of the show.
Thank you, everyone.
As always, if you enjoyed this and you've got something from it, we'd love for you to share it. That'd be really massively appreciated. We don't do a lot of the algorithmy things around here, but it really certainly would help if you would, you know, like and subscribe and tell your friends. If you really enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, keep to yourself. Right? Simple as that. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for being part of Soulbirth here on Edge Radio Australia.